Hello everyone, this is part 24 of What If Naruto Came Back to Claim His Family's Name, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Shikamaru Nara lied on a grassy field just watching the clouds go by. How did I get myself into this? I never thought I would fall for someone so troublesome. I mean, she is smart, beautiful and see. However, she is just so troublesome, almost as troublesome as my mother. How in the world could I fall head over heels for her? Temari, you are troublesome, why do I love? Hey Shikamaru, said Chuji as he walked up the hill toward his best friend and teammate. Hey Chuji, what are you up to? Asked Shikamaru, still looking up at the sky. Nothing much, Ino turned down my date offer again. Other than that I am fine, said Chuji as he sat down next to his friend. Chuji, why do you even try asking Ino out? She doesn't like you. She likes Sasuke, not you, said Shikamaru as Chuji glared at him. No, she can't. Sasuke betrayed the village he needed to put in jail for the rest of his life, but no, he got only a year's suspense and being followed by Anbu, said Chuji. Chuji, I am telling you I have never seen Ino as happy as when she is with Sasuke, said Shikamaru before standing up. Now I have to get going. Where are you going? Asked Chuji. I am going to make the rest of my life very, very troublesome, said Shikamaru as he walked toward the village gates. Are there you a little boy? I know that you get sidetracked watching clouds, said Shikamaru's girlfriend of 2.5 years, Temari. Sorry, said Shikamaru, are we ready to head to the sand village now? Sure, said Temari as the two of them started heading down the road toward the sand village. They walked all day until they came to the official landmark that marked the eastern border of Wind Country, the Great Desert Valley. We will camp here and cross into Wind Country tomorrow morning, said Temari as she and Shikamaru set up camp on one of the lower rimes heading down toward the bridge that crossed the river. They finished just as the sun started to set in the desert sky. Beautiful, isn't it? Said Shikamaru as he sat watching the sunset. Yeah, it is, said Temari as she sat next to her boyfriend. This is what I love about the desert, the beautiful golden clear sun rays and sunset. What do you find beautiful in the weather in Konoha? Asked Shikamaru as they got closer together. Well, it is a lot cooler and the rain showers are nicer than sandstorms, said Temari as she put her head on Shikamaru's shoulder. What do you like about the sand village besides the weather? Asked Shikamaru. My brothers and my childhood friends, said Temari. Where is he going with this line of question? He knows all this already, all this. What about Leaf Village? Asked Shikamaru. Shikamaru-kun, what are you planning? Well, you of course and my new friends. Now tell me, where are you going with this? Shikamaru let out a sigh before speaking. Temari, you are so troublesome but I love you, will you marry me? Asked Shikamaru as he pulled out a ring box and opened it. It was a simple band with a demon center. Temari just looked at the ring and Shikamaru as her eyes started to water. Yes, said Temari as she kissed Shikamaru as they parted. He slipped the ring on her finger before they kissed again. You had this planned out from the beginning, didn't you? Yes, I did. I knew that it takes about 6 hours to get here on foot and the sun sets here at 7:30. Therefore I knew we had to leave by 1 and with, started Shikamaru before Temari kissed him again. Sometimes you talk too much, Shikamaru-kun, said Temari as the sun started to set as they keep kissing. Rick out of Hinura. The 25-year-old Rick Uzumaki walked down the streets of Konoha toward his house. Most of the villagers didn't even give him a passing glance in his white traveling cloak. As the head of the village's assassin and spy corps, he was trained to fade into the background to not stand out. Finally he reached his house. It wasn't the size as one of the main clan houses, but since his clan was made out of only him, his wife, Hinura, and their 5-year-old son, Kimna, they didn't need the room. As he opened the front, he was instantly grabbed by his son. Daddy, yelled Kimna as he hugged his dad's legs. Hey son, said Rick as he bent down and picked up his son and held him up to his chest. Like Hinura, Kimna had silver hair, however he did have his father's brown eyes. I missed you, Daddy, said Kimna. And I missed you, Sorry I had to be gone for as long as I was, said Rick as he and his son walked into the kitchen only to find Hinura waiting for him. That is okay, Dad. Mommy said you were out saving people, said Kimna. Still, I am sorry. How can I make it up to you? Asked Rick. Well, if you brought me back as something, it would make me feel better, said Kimna with a smile before Rick put him back on the floor. Well, I did bring something back for you, said Rick as he reached into his cloak and pulled out a scroll. Slowly he unsealed it. Kimna's eyes widened. It was a set of small wooden training kunai with a small jewel in the handle. Wow, said Kimna. You did say you wanted to be a ninja, didn't you? Asked Rick. Yeah, I can't wait till I am a ninja, yelled Kimna. Well, be careful with these, said Rick as he held up the wooden kunai. They may be wooden, but they can still hurt, and this little jewel here will glow when you put the right amount of chakra into it. That is so cool, said Kimna. Kimna, go wash up, lunch will be soon, said Hinura. When Kimna was gone, Hinura and Rick walked toward each other. I missed you, said Hinura as she placed her head on her husband's chest. And I missed you, my silver hair angel, whispered Rick into Hinura's ear. Hinura only slimed at her husband's nickname for her. Any luck on finding that person you were looking for? Asked Hinura. Some. We found out where he used to be, said Rick. So what are you making? Just something simple. I haven't been feeling the best, so I don't want to upset my stomach before I have to go work at the hospital in about an hour. I was going to drop Kimna off at Sakura Sensei's. No, I will look after him. It is the least I can do for leaving you and Kimna for as long as I did, said Rick as he kissed his wife. Rick-kun, you were only gone a week. I can handle things here for a week, said Hinura. I know, it's just I hate leave you and Kimna alone. My dad was gone a lot and I want to be here for both of you, said Rick as Kimna walked back in. After Rick changed out of his assassin cloths and into his street cloths, they eat lunch as Kimna told his dad about the week. Then after Hinura left to go to the hospital, Rick took Kimna to the park to play. Rick watched his play on the monkey bars with some of the other boys. He is growing up so fast. Next year he will be entering school, and 6 years after that he becomes a ninja, thought Rick as someone else sat down beside him on the park bench. Hello, Rick, said Hinura's father, Kane Hataki. Hello, sir, said Rick. You know you can drop the sir. You been married to my daughter for 6 years and before that dated her just as long. You are a member of the family, said Kane as he looked at his son-in-law. I know I am just showing you some respect by calling you sir, Kane, said Rick with a smile as Kimna saw who was sitting next to his dad. Grandpa, yelled Kimna as he ran up and hugged his 53-year-old grandpa. Hey sonny boy, said the old ninja who now had to walk around with a cane due to a mission wound he had gotten almost 10 years ago. Guess what, Dad brought me a set of really cool training kunai, said Kimna with a smile, with a huge smile on his face. Really? Asked Kane to his only grandchild who he loved with all his heart. Yes, someday I will be a great ninja like Dad and Mom and you, of course, said Kimna. Well, you better get training to become like your parents because they are very good ninjas. But now since you are still young, go have some fun, said Kane as Kimna went off to play again. Later that night, Rick just stood there in the doorway looking at his son sleeping in his bed. No matter how many times he had done this, he always thought the same thing. He is so beautiful. Slowly he closed the door and walked down the darkened hall to his and Hinura's room. Slowly he changed into a pair of sweatpants. He left his shirt off because Hinura always said she slept better when she could smell and feel his skin. Slowly he lied down on his side to face his wife as she moved so that Rick could wrap her up. Hinura placed her hands on his chest and her head on the soft spot of her husband's Zen. Rick-kun. Yes, Hinura-chan. Would it upset you if I asked Naruto to assign you to a genin squad, said Hinura. No, I wouldn't mind, but I don't think he would give me a team, since I have a standing mission, said Rick. Well, I want you around to help me out, said Hinura. I thought you said you can handle things here while I am gone, said Rick. Rick, the reason I want you around is the fact that today I found out that I am pregnant, said Hinura as Rick's eyes widened. Pregnant? Asked Rick. Yes, I am pregnant. We are going to have another child, said Hinura. That is amazing. Of course I will stay home to help you out, said Rick as he kissed Hinura on her forehead and moved one of his hands to his wife's stomach where their new child was growing. I love you, Hinura-chan. And I love you, Rick-kun, said Hinura as they fell asleep. Well then, it appears I will just have to beat you up before bringing you back to the village, said Kushina as she cranked her knuckles. Kushina, please leave, said Fugaku as he pulled out his sword. I can't. I won't let you go into darkness, yelled Kushina as she started to pump chakra into her fists. Well, it seems that there is no getting around this then, said Fugaku as he lowered his head to activate his black Sharingan, then looked into Kushina's blue eyes. I am sorry that it had to come to this. So am I, said Kushina as she bit her thumb and slammed her hand into the ground, but nothing happened. Itachi put a seal around the area that stops you from summoning. You have to fight me without them, said Fugaku. No matter, I am going to bring you back. Even if I have to break bones, said Kushina as the two looked at each other. Fugaku ran through some hand signs. When he was done, he drew a deep breath and started to breath out fireballs. Kushina ducked the fireballs as she charged toward Fugaku with a chakra-enhanced fist. Instead of her fist hitting his face, it hit the ground, causing small rocks to fly up from the crater. I see that your strength has improved, Fugaku said while eyeing the crater. It has. I was saving it as a surprise for the next time we spared, said Kushina as she looked at Fugaku. I was trying to impress you. Kushina, you never have to impress me, said Fugaku as the two just looked at each other for a second before starting to fight again. Kushina placed her hand in a cross shape. Shadow Clone Jutsu, yelled Kushina as two more Kushinas appeared. All three of them charged toward Fugaku again. When they got close, Fugaku fell down onto his hands and started to do a spinning kick. The impact of his kicks disbanded the clones and sent Kushina flying over the edge, plugging toward the bottom of the waterfall. As Kushina fell down, Itachi appeared next to Fugaku. Why aren't you using the black Sharingan to its fullest? It has the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan. Enter mind her mind and K her, ordered Itachi before he disappeared. Fugaku lowered his head again before looking down to see that Kushina was now running back up the stone statue with a ball of glowing blue chakra in her hand. Yet another surprise, Kushina. Dad always said that Uncle Naruto was always full of surprises. Looks like you have that trait as well, thought Fugaku as he charged up a Chidori and charged down the hill toward Kushina. Finally, the two attacks hit each in a glowing flash of chakra and electricity. The force of the explosion sent both Kushina and Fugaku flying off the side of the valley walls and into the water below. When they surfaced again, they looked at each other. Fugaku, why are we doing this when we should be fighting Itachi, not each other, said Kushina. Kushina, Itachi is too powerful. Even if we would team up, it would be useless. He would just K us and then go back and K my family. Maybe even yours, and I will not S all of their lives when I can just give up my own, said Fugaku. Fugaku, I know for a fact that any of them would lay down their lives to save you, said Kushina. Kushina, I know that, but I can't let them do that, said Fugaku, and now I have to use this Sharingan of mine. With that, Fugaku's black Sharingan began to spin and they entered the Mangekyo world. Where are we? Asked Kushina as she stood up. Everything was different. Instead of being in the valley, they were in her backyard, only the colors were a little off. From what I understand, I control everything in this illusion, therefore I thought we would go somewhere calm, said Fugaku as they stood and faced each other. So what happens now? Asked Kushina. Well, I guess I just knock you out, then move along, said Fugaku. Fugaku, we can work together and fight him. My dad dispelled my clone when I was halfway here and I didn't cover my trail that good. He will come and the QB will come with him and they can K him, said Kushina, trying to make him to listen to her. Kushina, even if I agree to that, how can that work? He is too powerful for me, said Fugaku stubbornly. Alone? No, but together maybe we can, said Kushina. Please let me help you. Fugaku lowered his head. You could said Fugaku while fighting back tears at the thought. I don't care, a ninja could at any time, might as well be saving the person you love life, said Kushina. Besides, do you think that this guy will let your family be after he has this black Sharingan of yours? Do you even have a plan, or are you just going to charge him? Because that doesn't work. I tried, said Fugaku as Kushina grinned. Kushina fell into the water and started to sink. Fugaku rushed over and picked her up before she sank too far. He picked her up bridal style and put her head at the base of his N. Itachi appeared next to him. What took you so long? asked Itachi. Well, she is my friend. I wanted to explain why I have to do this, said Fugaku as he walked toward the solid ground. Alright, but make it fast since the Hokage is coming, said Itachi as he stood next to Fugaku. Suddenly one of Kushina's legs shot up, hitting Itachi in the arm, shattering the bone. Fugaku then dropped Kushina to go through hand seals. As she fell, she used her other free left leg to kick Itachi in hip, shattering it as well. Meanwhile, Fugaku charged up a Chidori. Itachi swerved to the side but was thrown off balance and couldn't dodge the Chidori complete. Instead of getting hit in any vital areas, Itachi got hit in his other arm, making it useless. You are even more foolish than your father, said Itachi as he gathered chakra for Amaterasu. However, just as he did, Fugaku pulled out his sword and espered it into his uncle's gut, breaking his concentration. Fugaku ran his uncle back into the stone walls, jabbing his sword into the wall. I will kill everyone once I get out of here and heal myself. Oh, I don't think so, said Fugaku before yelling out a question. Kushina, are you ready? Almost, yelled Kushina as Itachi looked up to see a Rasengan in her hand. However, next to her stood two clones, each molding chakra into the spinning ball. I hope this works, thought Kushina as the Rasengan spinning started to slow down. It seemed so simple on my grandfather's papers. Suddenly the chakra began to glow golden, then the Rasengan stopped spinning and turned into a solid ball of chakra. It's ready, yelled Kushina as she appeared in front of Itachi, her arm drawn back as she did. Fugaku disappeared. Rasengan, yelled Kushina as she shelved the perfect form of the Rasengan into Itachi's face. A mile away, Naruto and his team had to take cover as the earth itself started to shake. What the hell is going on? Asked Rick as the sky turned black with a glow coming from in front of them. I am going ahead, yelled Naruto as he disappeared and reappeared only to find a huge crater at what used to be a valley. The water rushed into its new outlet flood. Looking down, Naruto could make out two figures on a rock island in the middle of the new lake. Naruto jumped down and felt his worries start to break. There was daughter safe and sound sleeping. She wasn't alone. There was Fugaku holding Kushina with her head in his lap. Fugaku, what happened here? Where is Itachi? Asked Naruto. He's Uncle Naruto, said Fugaku as Naruto's eyes widened. Kushina used something called a golden Rasengan and slammed it into his face. She used a golden Rasengan? Asked Naruto. Yes, I saw him using my black Sharingan. He is said Fugaku. The force of the blast sent her backwards and into the rock wall. Uncle Naruto, how is my family doing? They are fine. I know that they will be so happy to see you, said Naruto as he put a hand on the boy's shoulder. I know I will be kicked off the ninja force for leaving the village, said Fugaku, a little upset for what was to come. No, you won't. You left to protect your family, and together with Kushina you killed the strongest ninja in the world, said Naruto as the rest of tracking team got to the scene. Now get some rest, soon you will be back home. So, it looks like it is finally over, said Sakura. Yeah, Hinata found what was left of Itachi at the bottom of the lake that Kushina made, said Naruto as the two of them stood in the hospital hallway. How is she doing? She is doing fine, mostly some melted chakra burns and chakra exhaustion, said Sakura. It feels so good to have her home. Yeah, she is going to be home because I am grounding her for a while for running off like that, said Naruto as his wife rolled her eyes. Naruto-kun, you couldn't stop her if you tired, said Sakura as she looked into the room where her daughter was sleeping. You let her go, didn't you? Asked Naruto, even though he already knew the answer. Yeah, I knew that if anyone would be able to find Fugaku, she would, and that you would be able to find her. However, I never thought she would kill Itachi, said Sakura, still surprised about the last part. I know, I never thought she would be able to do the golden Rasengan, said Naruto. Well, at least it is finally over. What about my cousin and the grass ninjas? Asked Sakura. Well, grass is actually kind of happy. Apparently Jin was kind of a tyrant and now they are free. As for your other cousin, I have no idea where he took off to, but hopefully we will never see him again, said Naruto. We can only hope, said Sakura. I would love to never to see him again. Well, looks like you'll get your wish, said Naruto. How is the Akamaiki clan? Asked Sakura. What Akamaiki clan? Said Naruto as he rubbed his temples. They are down to approximately 3 dozen members. They lost that many. They were one of the largest clans in the village. They had dozens of families, said Sakura. All gone, said Naruto, all that is left is the very young and the very old. Well, they still have Chooser, if that means anything, said Sakura. No, they don't. He was found in his cell, said Naruto. Meanwhile, Sasuke was just standing outside his son's hospital room. He was almost at the point of tears. Somehow, some way his family had survived. Every single one of his kids were home and were safe. Itachi was. They were now truly safe. Sasuke-kun, said Ino as she walked out of the room and placed a hand on her husband's shoulder. I really don't know what to say, Ino-chan. Itachi killed my entire family once, and then when I finally have a family again he comes back and almost took it away again, said Sasuke. But he didn't, said Ino, we are all here and safe. I know, and that is why I am crying. I thought we had lost Fugaku, but now he is back, said Sasuke as Ino put her arms around him. I know, I am so happy to have him back, said Ino as she started to cry. Inside the room, Fugaku started to wake up. He groaned while opening his eyes to come face to face with his twin. Well, good morning, brother, said Liz. Liz, I have never been so happy to hear your winny voice, said Fugaku. Well, it is great having you back, even if you are a jerk sometimes, said Liz before hugging him and cried into his shoulder. It's okay, Liz. I am back and not going anywhere, said Fugaku. Yeah, because Kushina will hunt you down and drag you back, said Liz. Yes, she would, said Fugaku as he grinned. A few days later, Naruto sat in his office reread some paperwork. Pretty soon he would have to send teams to take the Chunin exams in the Sand Village. However, right now he didn't care. Itachi was gone, the sound disappeared years ago, and his family and village was safe. Naruto looked at the photos that lined his desk. There were 4 pictures that he always kept. One was the old picture of Team 7. Naruto and Sasuke on either side of Sakura. In the background stood Kakashi with one hand on top of Sasuke's and Naruto's head. Next to that picture was one of his and Sakura's team back those years ago, just after the Chunin exams. Naruto stood next to Sakura, his arm wrapped around her waist. In front of Naruto stood Rick dressed in his white assassin uniform, next to him stood Hinura dressed like to Sakura, and next to her was Minato dressed in black. In front of Sakura stood the other 3 members of their teams, Kinkura, Luke and Lu. On the other corner of the desk sat his last 2 photos. The photo was taken by Tsunade, and it happened when Sasuke had used a jutsu to bring back Naruto's and Sakura's parents for 24 hours. There stood Naruto and Sakura, on either side of them stood their parents, and in front of them all stood Naruto and Sakura's current family. They should be heading to the past any day now, Naruto thought before looking at the last and possibly the most important photo of the most important thing in his life, his family. This photo was taken by his uncle, Altair, just after Saya was born, as they all slept in the same bed. Sakura was asleep using his shoulder as her pillow, while he was using the top of her head as his. However, they weren't alone. Sleeping in between they laid the 8-year-old Kushina. Sleeping on his side and hugging Naruto was the 4-year-old Minato. Hugging Sakura was Altair, who, like his brother, was sleeping on his side. How many things have changed since those days, said Naruto as he stood up and turned around to look at the village. I know something that will never change, said Sakura as she suddenly appeared at his side. What, Sakura-chan? Asked Naruto. My love for you, said Sakura as she kissed her husband. And I love you too, Sakura-chan, and that is something I am glad will never change, said Naruto as he went back to kissing his wife. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.